Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And that, I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. And you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take the pass. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier as we kick off this Friday, this free-for-all Friday edition of the Martin Houston Show powered by Box Eye Care. We will be getting ready to to wrap up the defensive conversation that we've had going on the last couple of days, as well as we'll take some approaches to the coaches' turnovers that we've been talking about. Also, a little SEC talk about other games going on around the conference, and we'll dip our toes into the offensive side of things that we've seen through 3 weeks, the first 3 weeks of the season, and then kick it over to you.
All right. Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show, powered by Box Eye Care. It's a free-for-all Friday, powered by the pharmacy at Midtown, Pharmacy Midtown. Go check them out. TJ and his staff do an awesome job. If you're a new patient, call them at 205-579-9933. Or if you're an existing patient and need their help, you can call that same number as well. They have a whole list of services. Of course, the traditional pharmacy services, but also they can deliver right to your home. They do compounding, and that's meds made with you in mind, long-term care assistance as well. Go check them out. Give them a call, talk to them, and find out how they can help you get things taken care of, whether you're struggling with diabetes, smoking, weight loss, high blood pressure, etc. Like I said, it's not your typical pharmacy, and that is the pharmacy at Midtown, and they bring us a free-for-all Friday. And as X mentioned, going to wrap up some of that conversation around the defensive side of the ball. It's a free-for-all Friday, so we may end up anywhere today, but definitely want to wrap up some of that conversation, and if we don't get deep into the offensive conversation, we can kick that to next week. We'll add Kennington Smith to the conversation on Monday. Also, just some miscellaneous thoughts, X. Talk about getting around the SEC a little bit. A couple teams having their first ever SEC game play, Oklahoma and Tennessee as well is one of the big ones that very interested in. And we'll see what they're able to do. All right. In with the big boys, and if Tennessee's for real. One thing that when we talked about the conversation, X, no one's talked about this. Did you get to see Pittsburgh play?
I've seen clips and pieces of all three of their games this year.
Eli Hosting is a ball player, and he was my
Yes,
dude.
he is.
Huh?
Yes, he is.
He was my dude. He was my dude from other than Jalen. I thought he was the best one. And for some reason, he was like fourth and fifth. I never understood it, But when he committed here, I said, yeah. Because anyway, that was just a quick sidebar. Anyway, he's balling out, Bama fans. If you haven't seen him up at Pittsburgh, big time. Yeah, that dude looked like one of those guys that we may be talking about watching up in New York at some point. uh, but anyway, remember this: trust in the Lord always, and remember that this is a day that He has made. So let's rejoice, be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, and be the difference you want to see in the world today. So, great show lined up for you, X, and we're able to do it each and every day because of the great folks over at Box Eye Care.
Yes, sir. And as we kick this off, we actually have Pat joining us on the Empowerment and Strategy Solutions hotline to talk about the crowds for next weekend before the Alabama Georgia game. You know, we got a big visitor that's going to be in town. Presidential nominee, former President Donald Trump, is going to be back to see another Alabama game. Welcome in, Pat.
Hey, good morning. But I actually think Justice Terry is the biggest visitor we got next weekend. I don't care what anybody says. Hey, but that's what I wanted to talk about though is that the Donald will be in town. I was in Miami when a jackleg showed up, and that luckily I was smarter than the average fan and got in line like 4 hours early that for the ball game, and I got in and got in my seat. But I had friends that were down there with me that paid. I think we paid somewhere in the vicinity of $600-700 a ticket or better for those tickets, and did not get in till almost the end of the first quarter. So don't be stupid and not get in line very, very early. Game day, more than likely, I would be willing to almost bet my lunch money that game day is going to be there, and that it's just going to be a nightmare beyond nightmares, y'all. And that Donald is not doing us a favor by being at this ball game at all. But this is the most important game for the fans to be in their seats, yelling their heads off, not for President Trump, but for Alabama to beat Georgia, because beating Georgia will bring us over the top for this 2025 recruiting class. And I just thoroughly believe that. What do you guys think?
You want the crowd to be there, and I agree. If you're going to be attending the game, get there early. Get there extremely early for you to be able to get in there and be loud for the Alabama game and make a good impression on the recruits that'll be there, because it's not just Justice Terry. It's going to be a lot of guys that'll be in town for that game. And if Bama wins that one, I do agree that the 2025 class might be better than it already is.
Yeah, and I would say that
by a lot. Go ahead, Martin.
I hope that Alabama is smart enough to open the gates earlier than normal. And I would say that whether President Trump was coming or not, I think this will be. Right. I think this will be on the scale of the LSU 9-6 game where there was 100 and something thousand. Chase, you weren't here for this, but Chase, there was 3,000-4,000 in the stands, and there was over 100,000 fans
on the quad
in Tuscaloosa that didn't have a ticket.
Wow.
Our population as a city tripled in one day. Let that sink in. I mean, it was the craziest. I mean, it was 100. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. I mean, it's just, it was as many people that with the stands and the quad. So, hey, Pat, we appreciate you. We got several calls back to appreciate you, man.
But hey, I just want one other thing. They brought in Budweiser trucks all the way from Missouri. All right, y'all. Hey, have a blessed one, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, X.
All right. Let's get to Tommy and Romulus before we get to break. Wants to talk about the Crimson Tide. What you got for us this morning, Tommy?
Hey guys, how are y'all this morning?
Doing good.
Great. It's going to be a great weekend next week, no matter if the former president comes or not. If he comes, great. It will showcase the University of Alabama. It will showcase the state of Alabama. I think it's a win-win. And we beat Georgia. Hey, even better. I mean, it will bring a ton of money to our small businesses and everything. I am shocked by people that want a former president or a president to come to a ballgame. Well, I gotta wait in line for another hour. Well, tough luck. I'm not the best person to stand in line, but hey, I'm getting older.
Here's the thing. Like I said, Tommy, I don't know that if it matters because I think that there's only so many people who can get in the game, and I think people are going to get there earlier anyway. And I think having had the experience before, I think they'll be better prepared. I think the last time they were kind of culture shocked, and I think that also delayed it. I think the training will be better. So like I said, I think this was going to be one of those, oh my goodness, everybody shows up at the same time type of game anyway.
Well, yeah,
Right.
but they open the gate. Are they going to open the gate 30 minutes or an hour early? They got a room 2 hours before kickoff.
That's what I'm saying is that's what I hope that they do. If they do that, it won't be as big a deal. If they operate with their same normal process, then shame on the university for that.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, it's not going to be a terrible nightmare. I mean, I just don't understand this. I really don't.
Ditto. I mean,
it helps our city, small business, restaurant, hotel. There'll be a lot more people buying Alabama shirts and stuff. I mean, and you might get to see the dollar wave at you. You know, hey, so what? I mean.
All I can tell you is if my ticket's close to him, I'm moving though. Thanks.
Well,
thanks, Tommy.
I know, but the question was asked yesterday on other shows. If you could get a ticket in the box where you sit with Donald.
I know.
And I said yes. I said yes. And people thought I must have been nuts.
I'm just
get the opportunity. Get the opportunity to sit with a president of the United States. If it was Barack Obama or it was Bill Clinton, I've been glad to sit with them. It's an honor.
Meeting the president is overrated, Tommy. I got.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I got to meet Bill Clinton with President Clinton with Coach Stallings and Colin Powell with Coach Stallings, and the strongest man in the room in both of those scenarios was Coach Stallings.
I agree.
Thanks, Tommy. We got to get the break here, man.
All right, man. Y'all have a good week.
All right, that's Tommy. Yeah, if I'm in a box, I might set back up at the top, X. But if I'm out on the field, I'm not sitting beside President Trump. So anyway, let's get the break here. We'll be back on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, TGIF, and we are getting off to an eventful start right now. If you're traveling in Foster's, do watch out for this fender bender on 2059 eastbound before Foster's. Now, this is going to knock out that right lane. Traffic is already slowing down just a bit. Also, we're having traffic light troubles on Lurleen Wallace, southbound near University Boulevard. Those traffic lights are not working, so you do want to treat that like a stop sign. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
John Legend here. How do I keep my protection against COVID-19 up to date? With a COVID shot this season.
You can get your COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Ask your healthcare provider and book at VaxAssist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Football is back, and no one does it better than the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This season, you can watch the games with nothing on the line. Boring. Or you can make a play in the starting lineup. The Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you into the big plays with big bets and big wins, making every game more exciting than ever. It's time for the sports glory you deserve without breaking a sweat. The Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game. Must be 21.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A good supply of sunshine today with a hot afternoon, the high 91. For tonight, fair with the low at 67. And for the weekend, the weather stays dry, mostly sunny tomorrow and Sunday with hot afternoons, highs between 90 and 93. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care. Hey, Martin Houston Speaks, a division of Empowerment Strategies and Solutions. We empower leadership. We have partnered with John Maxwell, going to be bringing an awesome event to Tuscaloosa, West Alabama. It's Live to Lead, going to be featuring some of the nation and the world's top speakers that include the likes of John Maxwell, Malcolm Gladwell, who wrote The Tipping Point, one of the top 100 thought leaders in the world. John Maxwell is the Coach Saban of leadership. Also, John Gordon will be speaking as well. And we'll have Michael Jr., who is a comedic thought leader, and Shante Lowe, who is a multi-time Olympian, and we'll be providing more details. Go ahead and say the date of December the 3rd, 2024. And if you can't make that date and you want to be at the in-person, there'll be another showing in February. We'll be giving you more details about that. It's Live to Lead, developing the abundant mindset. And we'll be talking to you more about that. But Martin Houston Speaks, a division of Empowerment Strategies and Solutions, will be bringing that to you. X, we've been talking about defense and Coach Womack and what he brings to the table. I love this dude, man. I can't get enough of just how awesome he is. And here's what he had to say when he was asked about turnovers and what we've seen and been hungry for here as Bama fans.
I think good coaches get what they emphasize in practice, and if you have your player's ear, if you're able to communicate in a way that they can grasp and latch on to what you're saying, those things should show up in practice, and then those practice habits show up on game day. And I think our players did a really tremendous job. It's something that the players needed to understand. It was not acceptable, right, to not create takeaways, to not get the ball out. That's who we are as a defense. It's what we preach. It's one of our Bama fundamentals. It's an identity of who we are as a Swarm D. And so I thought they did a really tremendous job of taking ownership of that. And then, one of the jobs of a coach is you cast vision for your players, but then your players have to accept, some portion of that vision, and then you reinforce it day in and day out with relentless detail until they can actualize the vision for themselves. And what is happening on our team right now is you're seeing some of our older leaders that are helping these younger players actualize the vision by holding them accountable to those details, and then it's showing up in games. And so very, very pleased with a step in the right direction in terms of attempting to take the ball off of people.
X.
And that's what you saw, especially week one, with Keon Sabb and his 2 interceptions, and then of course the big fumble last week. Didn't get a turnover against South Florida, but you see guys making plays on balls, being in position a little bit different for the most part than what we seen the last couple years in Alabama. For those who don't remember, when Coach Saban first got here, you had a season where Mark Barron had 7 interceptions. You had a season where Robert Lester had 7 interceptions. And I think we're getting back to that. Minka was an amazing artist at taking the ball away, whether it be interceptions or fumbles. And I think the defense is going to get back to that with the way that he's coaching, because he said they will do what you emphasize. And I think turnovers and the way that we cover in the secondary is going to lead to more of those as the season comes along.
Yeah, I love it when he said that coaches cast vision. Coaches cast vision, and that you get what you emphasize, and that this coaching staff is emphasizing turnovers, and we're beginning to see it. Even though we didn't have any in the second game, we still had a couple opportunities and came close.
Mm-hmm.
And we had opportunities to have even more. In the fact that it makes it, to me, it sounds like they're learning to play the way he wants to play, and the more comfortable they get, the more natural that it will become. And then X, back to that Bama standard, man. You didn't get to respond to it yesterday, but effort and finish leads to hard shoulder tackles, and hard shoulder tackles with violent hands leads to less broken tackles, and less broken tackles with violent hands leads to guys being held up and game tackling, which leads to guys coming in with violent hands, hard shoulders, effort and finish, and ripping the ball out, which leads to more turnovers. And the 4 Bama standards is, of course, effort and finish, hard shoulder tackles, violent hands, and creating turnovers. And to me, I just see that getting better and better and better as the year goes along.
Right. And one thing that I didn't get to say yesterday was, when you look at how he said we watch guys in the NFL. Well, a former Alabama player is one of the best guys at forcing fumbles, and that's Marlon Humphrey. Some people ain't been a fan of the things he said about the program recently, but he's a perfect guy to watch when you're talking about wrapping up in the violent hands, the punching at the football when a guy has another guy stood up. Marlon's one of the best of them. So that's a guy that I could see coach saying, hey, when you're that second guy in, punch, punch, punch. So I think that, as you said, this will be something as they get more comfortable that you'll see more of.
Yeah, I saw one guy, NFL X, and I'll make this quick. In NFL, he was not going to be able to tackle the guy X, and the running back was going to get away from him. He left his feet. He wasn't going to be able to hit him with his shoulder. He wasn't going to be able to wrap up. But you know what he did, X? He gave effort. He dove. I mean, he was almost like Superman flat, and took his hand, and all he could get was his fist to the ball. Let this sink in. He was not going to make the tackle. He couldn't have done anything. He couldn't have slowed him down or anything. But instead of trying to grab him, he just dove and punched at the ball, and it was at the 2-yard line. The guy was going in to score. Boom, ball fell out at the end. And they recovered it. The defense gets the turnover because he did everything else except for the hard shoulder. He gave great effort. He finished. He had the violent hands, and he created a turnover. I mean, it was just. I mean, I don't know if Coach saw that play or not, but if he did, he has the perfect. He has a perfect avatar video if he needs it.
And that's what you want from your players, just giving that effort all the way through. Well, we got J. Rob joining us on the Empowerment Strategy Solutions Hotline. How you doing this morning, J. Rob? Want to talk a little bit about Bama?
Happy Football Friday, guys. I hope you're doing well today.
Oh, yes, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Man, it sure was good to hear Tommy from Romulus call again this morning. I mean, I'm kind of getting surprised at these big time radio personalities waking up so early in the morning. What y'all think about that?
Hey, this is
we love it.
This is the best show going.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best show.
I know, man.
J. Rob, hey, we got great shows all day long. But we started off and we don't be playing. Best show going.
That's right. Right. You kick it. You kick things off every day. Get my day started every day. But
hey, J.
I'm looking forward to the weekend.
If you get everybody else to wake up, man. I get more people go. I get more people go, man, I listened to your show, but I didn't listen to it live.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just used to getting up. I'm an early riser. I get caught up for all my life. Get up and go to work, but now I don't. But it's just once you get in that habit, it's hard to break out of it. But I'm looking forward to the weekend. Yeah. What are y'all most looking forward to this weekend? I know we got a lot of good matchups. We got Oklahoma and Tennessee. I think that's Tennessee's first real challenge of the year. Especially it's going to be on the road. You got the Booger Eaters playing the Auburn Tigers. You got USC playing the Michigan Wolverines, which I think USC is going to take care of business there. I don't even think it's going to be a close game, but we'll see. What do y'all think about the weekend and what's to look forward to?
X.
Tennessee, Oklahoma, I think is going to be one of the more exciting games. It's really, even though Oklahoma hasn't blown everybody out, I think this is both teams' first real challenge. Tennessee's strength of schedule right now is ranked 122nd out of 134, and Oklahoma's is number 100. So these teams haven't played a lot of people. They haven't played anybody really yet, so you're going to get to see what these teams are both made of.
Yeah, and I would tell you really quick, J. Rob, is, to me, that's the big game. And I posted something that showed Oklahoma and Tennessee just messing with Tennessee and sent it to CJ, just showing it showed little people for Tennessee's defensive line. So anyway, but it's going to be, let's see if Tennessee's legit. And I think Heupel, if he gets a chance, he's going to put up 100 points on them.
Yeah, he will.
But at the same time, Oklahoma has something to say about that. Two other games that's of interest, not from a national standpoint, but SEC standpoint. Arkansas and Auburn is a very interesting game to me. Two reasons. Here's an inside story for you potentially. Bobby Petrino wants to put something on Auburn. He hates them. So there's that, right? He's going. But then the other side of that is he in a kind of a quandary, because I was talking to someone and they believe that they brought Bobby Petrino in thinking that Sam Pittman and this Arkansas team would struggle, and then they would be able to fire him and have Petrino serve as an interim head coach, and and then they could easily move him into the head coach. So the question becomes, what if they beat Auburn? What if they fool around and win a few more games? Does that plan go by the wayside? And third is,
could be put on hold.
Huh?
It could be put on hold.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then Hugh Freeze, if he loses to Arkansas, I mean, he's already lost to California. If he loses to Arkansas, then he has to turn around and play Oklahoma and Georgia at home against Oklahoma. So he could be looking at 3 out of 5 losses at home and then have to go on the road against Georgia. To me, this is a
They're supposed to be undefeated.
This is a
They're supposed to
must
be undefeated
win.
at this point.
Yeah, this is a must win for Auburn. Big opportunity. And then the last one is, will Auburn and Mississippi State remain the ugliest game ever played in SEC history? Or will Mississippi State and Florida replace them this weekend?
No, man, that's crazy. I'm looking forward to staying home for a weekend and relaxing and watching games on my TV. And one thing I'm not looking forward to is watching my Dallas Cowboys playing the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday. I'm disappointed in the performance that my Cowboys had last Sunday. I just didn't know they were that bad. They are just terrible on defense. And Dak didn't help him out at all with the 3 interceptions and his play. 240 million. 240. That's what we're getting. I don't know what to think about that, Martin.
I'll be quick. The Cowboy is horrible, but it's the good old boy network.
Martin, you hate the Cowboy. We must have lost him.
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
I think we've lost his audio, but yeah, I mean the Cowboys.
I know. Oh, go ahead, X.
No, that Cowboy game, especially if Derrick Henry goes off on them when you look at it, because that's where he wanted to go this offseason, and they went back and ran it back with Zeke. So that'll be interesting to see. But hey, J-Rob, we appreciate you. We're gonna go ahead and get the break and see if we can get that audio figured out. And we come back on the other side.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. We'll continue the conversation with this Alabama team during this bye week and talk some of the things that we expect to see from the offense.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, TGIF, and we are getting eventful start right now. If you're traveling in Foster's, do watch out for this fender bender on 2059 eastbound before Foster's. Now, this is going to knock out that right lane. Traffic is already slowing down just a bit. Also, we're having traffic light troubles on Lurleen Wallace, southbound near University Boulevard. Those traffic lights are not working, so you do want to treat that like a stop sign. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
Win Cash is back on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. It's all powered by Townsend Honda. For more details on how to win cash, tap that free Tide app.
Hi, this is Gene Poole.
And this is John Poole.
At Hudson Poole Fine Jewelers, we believe in celebrating life's special moments in elegance and style.
Whether you're searching for the perfect engagement ring or meaningful anniversary gift,
a beautiful birthday present, or just because surprise.
At Hudson Poole Fine Jewelers, we have exceptional pieces to mark your special occasion.
Visit Hudson Poole Fine Jewelers, downtown Tuscaloosa, or at hudsonpoole.com.
Oh, I'm so hungry. I need something great to eat at a super price.
Matt, we need to go back to Checkers and order their 5 for $5 wing deal.
What do you give for $5?
You see the look I'm giving you right now, right? Come on, man. You know what it is. It's 5 delicious wings for only $5. Duh.
Dude, let's slide over to Checkers for the 5 for $5 wing deal.
Checkers with 2 locations, 15th Street in Tuscaloosa and McFarland Boulevard in Northport, open late.
To make switching to the new Boost Mobile risk-free, we're offering a 30-day money-back guarantee.
So why wouldn't you switch from Verizon or T-Mobile?
Because you have nothing to lose. Boost Mobile is offering a 30-day money-back guarantee.
No, I asked why wouldn't you switch from Verizon or T-Mobile?
Oh.
Wouldn't.
Because you love wasting money as a way to punish yourself because your mother never showed you enough love as a child?
Whoa.
Easy there.
Yeah.
Applies to online activations. Requires port in and auto pay. Customers activating in stores may be charged non-refundable activation fees.
Meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments. Yeah, welcome to Flight 101. To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show.
This is Chase. How can I help you?
Hey, this is Martin.
Okay, Martin. Let me get you on hold, okay?
Getting things rolling in week 3 against Wisconsin. What are your thoughts about the 3 games you've seen from this offense? High, kind of low, with a big high again.
X, I was. Can you guys hear me?
Is this you, Martin?
Yes.
Okay. Let me
I'm
get you
dead on my
okay?
side, by the way.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
I'm
I'll
not
get you on the
getting
phone.
anything. And I was
This is
getting
so
feedback.
weird. Yeah. Let me
I could
get you on
hear
the phone, okay?
Xavier, and then when I started talking, I got the feedback. So that's why I couldn't respond.
Got you. Let me get you on air, okay?
All right. We've seen Alabama take advantage of those things. Are you back with us?
I am.
Okay. I was asking your thoughts of what this offense has looked like through 3 weeks. A big score week 2, but a drop with a low, back to a high with the way we played against Wisconsin.
Hey, X, I'm sorry. Keep going and just move on from that topic. I apologize to my listening. I apologize to my listening audience for the technical. Thought we had got past this, but I apologize. Go ahead, son.
Yeah, no problem. Just with the way that Coach Sheridan and Coach DeBoer have used Jalen in this year's offense, some of your thoughts on that, playing more to his strengths with something that we really didn't see last year. I think I texted you on Saturday saying that we've seen more designed runs for Jalen through 3 games than we had all of last year.
Yeah, instead of me talking about it, let's see what Coach Sheridan, he actually was asked about, Jalen and the quarterback runs and when and where. to do the quarterback runs. And here's what he had to say, and then I'll respond to how he's been utilized.
Yeah, with that, with, okay, still having this technical difficulty. This Alabama team, you see them play to Jalen's strength, unlike something we saw last year with the way things have been going this year. The offense has been more explosive. The offense looks more unified. Of course, we talk about what Ryan Williams has done as a 17-year-old freshman. I don't think that's been harped on enough throughout the course of 3 games. It's one of those things that you really kind of expect to see through the course of this offense. And I think you'll see more of it get explosive as the year goes along, more players getting involved. We've seen Cuevas be used. Bernard's had a bigger game. Kobe Prentice really stepped up through week 2. So, thoughts on that?
Yeah, as far as the Jalen, thing and what's going on with this offense, man, it's fun to see. And the audio that wasn't able to hear there was, he was talking about Jalen and using him in spots and different things like that. And so with that, that said, I've never understood the whole fear, worry, and concern X about. I get it. Some people worry about quarterbacks getting hurt. Jalen Milroe is the biggest running back we got, right?
Yeah.
Do we have a running back bigger than Jalen?
Daniel Hill, and he's the 4th string running back.
Right. So my point behind that, and the guy who was the smallest running back in the SEC last year, skinniest. He won the Heisman. Just
last year?
He won the Heisman last year.
Jaden Daniels, yeah.
Did they worry about him getting hurt? No. And that's what I think gets players hurt. We've learned our whole life that if you play cautious, if you play scared, if you play hesitant, X, what were you taught? When you play the game, you play
scared,
full
you're
speed.
gonna get hurt.
If you play scared, you get hurt. Quarterbacks aren't what quarterbacks used to be, but the mindset still hasn't changed. People still look at quarterbacks the same way they looked at quarterbacks to the way they did many moons ago. And one of the things that I thought was so good, which one do you think the quarterback gets hit the hardest at? In the pocket, blindsided, or running the ball when they protect themselves and know that the run has been called? Think about
definitely the blindside hit, standing in the pocket. The biggest hit we saw Saturday was LT Overton absolutely annihilating Wisconsin's quarterback when he was dropping back and got caught on the blind side.
That's right. When you throw the ball 35, 40 times a game, you put your quarterback in a position to get hit without any protection, potentially multiple times. So I think Sheridan's use of it has been great, and he talked about being situational and based on what's going on. I think, could Jalen get hurt? Absolutely. But the closest I've seen Jalen to getting hurt has been when we've put him back to pass and he's gotten rolled up in the pocket. So that's my thoughts there. And what was the other part of your question?
So of course we understand that Ryan Williams has been absolutely phenomenal throughout the course of 3 games, 285 yards, 10 catches, 4 touchdowns, big play after big play. But getting you see Virgil Williams, when do we see a guy like Kendrick Law actually get used in the way that we think he's going to get used? Do you start to see that this week against Georgia? Is it something that we've been kind of hiding so they don't have film on it? Because as dynamic as a playmaker as Law is, he has 1 catch. Now that 1 catch is a touchdown, but that's the only time we've seen him this year.
Well, I mean, you think about both coordinators said that they've not put in all of their offense, right? And once again, if you got to hear the audio from Coach Sheridan, he talks about K Law a little bit, and he talks about just how impactful of a player he is. And so I do believe that they will get him involved. I do believe that they will. They have some things that they've not shown yet, in terms of what K Law brings to the table. So I'm not as worried about it. I thought we would have seen more, but based on the conversation that he had with the media and talking about how impactful of a player he is and how great of a player he is, I think they've intentionally not shown some of the stuff. Go back and look at the motions, though, that they've had him in. Go back and look at his movement. And I think that will kind of give you insight into what may happen with K Law moving forward. I do think he'll get into the mix, though.
Yeah, the mix is, and coming off of that, when you look at the other guys, so of course Ryan, but Jeremy and Kobe have made big plays. Kobe's biggest play of the year got called back on a hold, which I think was the iffiest hold call I've ever seen, where Formby plants the guy on the ground and lays on him after that guy stumbled. But Kobe was a guy that I figured would be in the offense, and we thought Bernard would be the go-to guy. So is it a bit surprising to see how impactful Ryan has been in 3 games at his age?
Well, you have to think, how many plays have we ran in 3 games? I mean, Chase, would you look up Alabama's total plays? Because I'll say my response to the other side, because I think we need to understand the total number of plays the first unit has played, even though we've played 3 games. And I'll respond to that, and I'll address the Ryan Williams, impact when we come back on the other side, X. Hey, as we go to break here, don't forget to go check out Box Eye Care, boxeyecare.com, 205-342-0660. Daniel Box and his team are there to serve you. They power the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier each and every day. Box Eye Care, boxeyecare.com.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Coming up Friday morning at 9 a.m., it's the TGIF edition of the Gary Harris Show. We're going to get you ready for the weekend. We've got some great guests. Also, we will have our Bama football trivia giveaway, courtesy of Teton Menswear and Teton Gallery and University Mall. Going to give away another great full-size print, and I'll have my SEC point spread predictions. We're going to have some fun on the Friday edition of the Gary Harris Show, Friday morning at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Let's go look at traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, TGIF, and we are getting off to an eventful start right now. If you're traveling in Foster's, do watch out for this fender bender on 2059 eastbound before Foster's.
Now, this is going to knock out that right lane. Traffic is already slowing down just a bit. Also, we're having traffic light troubles on Lurleen Wallace, southbound near University Boulevard. Those traffic lights are not working, so you do want to treat that like a stop sign. With your Tuscaloosa Traffic Now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance.
Townsend Nissan is your savings place with discounts and rebates up to $10,000 and finance rates as low as 0%. And we want your trade-in today. Townsend Nissan, your volume dealer. See BJ or Kylan today.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Nearly everyone has two kidneys, each about the size of an adult fist. They are located on either side of the spine, just below the ribs. Kidneys are very important to overall health. They help remove waste and extra fluid from the body. They filter the blood. Kidneys also make the vitamins that control growth. They also perform an important function by controlling blood pressure and minerals like calcium and potassium to keep the entire body healthy.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We're powered by Box Eye Care. We want to thank the good folks over at North River Timber Company, LLC, North River CO at gmail.com. It's been a free-for-all Friday, courtesy of the pharmacy at Midtown. As we get ready to get out of here, we want to thank all of our great sponsors. It's now time for the Harvest Church 2-minute warning. X and, we were talking a little bit about, total plays and all of that. And you said you have what you call it, pass attempts and completions. What's that stat? Because I think our perception is we played 3 games, and therefore, to Virgil's point, he says, when will they get Law involved? He has been non-existent, and if you go back and listen, you'll find out there's something about this coaching staff and this wide receiver core that I've not heard mentioned in a long time. And it's the reason we've had those long touchdown runs is because this program and the wide receiver blocking of Kendrick Law and Savin. He talks about that. Think about when the last time we heard that, X.
Right. And when you're talking about passing attempts and completions, Jalen is 35 for 53 on the season. So that's what 17 and some change attempts a game.
Yes.
With just under 12 completions a game. So this offense hasn't had a lot of time. They've only played really one full game when you look at what the starters have done. Jalen threw 9 passes week 1, and he threw 17 this past week. So it's not a ton of opportunities really to gravitate to and grab a hold to. So that's also probably played a little bit into it, when normally you would think they'd play 3 full games. Jalen's attempts would probably be in the 70 range and things of that nature.
And I don't know that it's full games. I think it's more about explosive plays. You lose drives. I don't know this Alabama coaching staff well enough to know the answer to this, but most coaches script 20 to 25 plays. Okay. Think about how long it takes Alabama to get through their scripted plays with the way we score.
Well, we did. We barely got through. If it was 20 plays, we would have gotten through it on our last play of not even our last play of the first half of this Western Carolina game, because we were just trying to run the clock out.
Yeah, and so like I said, we didn't have a whole lot of plays against South Florida because we played bad, and then when we played good, we scored on like 2 or 3 plays, and then of course we did that. So I think that's part of the reason you haven't seen as much from K-Law. I think some of it is also by design, X, and I think Ryan Williams' dominance is about play calling. I think that he's the outside receiver, and when we've sent him deep, and they've connected, he's gotten open, and has hit him. So I think that the perception is worse than the reality in terms of Law not being involved. I just don't think he's had as many opportunities. I think that the way we score and how we score has probably hurt him and his opportunities some. So that's my thoughts there.
Yeah, that definitely plays into it. I thought at this point we probably would have seen a sweep or something, but I mean, like you said, Coach Sheridan and Coach Womack have both said, "Hey, we have kept things close to the vest through 3 weeks."
I think he had one speed sweep, didn't he? Hasn't he had one speed sweep? That
no, I think he's only touched the ball once.
I think it got called back.
It might have gotten called back in the South Florida game.
Yeah, I think we did see one, but
and I guess and speaking of that South Florida game, that also, when you look at the total, how many times after a big play would he have gotten the ball if it hadn't been a penalty? Like, you got to add that thought process into it as well. But I'm excited to see where this offense goes when you're going, hey, guys, we haven't done anything. We're still averaging 45 points a game.
Yeah. And that's the scary
47
part
points a game, whatever.
Without a doubt.
And so I like that it's just not it's everybody getting the ball. Everybody's getting a piece of the pie. I looked at it. Jalen's completed passes. Of his 35 attempts, he's completed passes to 9. If I did it right, it's 9 players have caught a pass from Jalen in 35 completions. That's an insane number, and that shows you, for people saying, "Oh, he's not reading defenses, he's not going through his progression." That 100% right there tells me you don't know football, or you're just choosing to hate on him for whatever reason. He has hit 35 attempts, 9 receivers, or not 35 completions, 9 receivers. That is insane distribution of the football.
George, Sports is Chase. How can I help you? Hello.
It's Martin. Phone hung.
Hey, Martin. Let me get you on.
Can you hear
me? I was disconnected again. Wrap up. Wrap up.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No. So this is the Friday edition of the Martin Houston Show. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We'll get things fixed and ready to rock and roll on Monday. We had Kennington Smith the third joining us as we get ready to prep and talk about Alabama versus Georgia. I'm Xavier Houston. That's Martin Houston. We got Chase pressing all the right buttons. We will see you on Monday.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Here's what